Os. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. Alright, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, alright. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded. Here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And down to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that into a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Free. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. 一つ、人格完成に人を盛ること。一つ、誠の道を守ること。一つと力の精神を養うこと。一つ礼儀を重んずること。一つ景気の湯を戒めること。Ready? That's it. よい。しばらくち。Ready? よい。Today's class is an advanced class. And I say that because we're going to go through some advanced kata. However, this class may show up again as an intermediate class because we are going through basic kata as well. And what we're doing today is a kata ladder or a kata pyramid. So we're going to start with the basics. We're going to go all the way from, we're going to cover all the heian katas. We're going to go to Teki Shodan. We're going to do Basadai. We're going to do MP and Jion. All right, so it's 5, 6, Basadai, MP and Jion. So 10 kata, all right? We're going to get to the top of the ladder with Jion, and then we're going to repeat Jion and go back down the ladder, all right? So the reason that I call this an advanced class is because you would probably want to know those advanced kata. You would want to know Teki Shodan Basadai, MP, and Jion, all right? If you don't know those kata and you still want to participate in class, you're more than welcome to do so. What I would recommend you do is get to the highest point you can. So let's say you only know up to Heian Godan, all right? Get to Heian Godan and then repeat Heian Godan until we get to the top of the ladder. Then come back down the ladder with us, again repeating Heian Godan throughout until we get to Heian Yondan and go back down the ladder. And the reason I say that is because probably the most recent kata that you would have learned, if you have learned Heian Godan, is Heian Godan. Therefore, you probably need the most practice with that kata Heian Godan. You've probably done Heian Shodan, Nidan, Sandan, and Yandan many, many times. Not as much with Heian Godan if you just recently learned it or you just learned it, right? So you need practice. So you might as well, if you're going to participate in the class, do Heian Godan several times, right? If it's the maximum is Teki Shodan, do Teki a whole lot. Do it several times, make sure you're doing it right, make sure you're getting the right kihon, make sure your timing is good, and come back down the ladder with us when it's time to come back down the ladder, all right? Everyone else, again, we're going from Heian Shodan all the way up through Jion and coming back down the ladder. We're going 10 kata, so as we get to the top, the order gets out a little bit because after Basadai, sometimes you're going to go to Kankudai, Teki Nidan, Teki Sandan, you may get a Kanku Sho. So there's a couple different kata that could come in between Basadai and what we're doing with MP, Hengetsu even. There's different kata that we could obviously do. These are the 10 that I've chosen for this class, all right? So let's go ahead and get started with kata Heian Shodan. We're going to start in our normal position. We're going to go through the kata. I'll just take a quick break, not very long. Typically, I'll take a lap around the dojo here. Then we get started right into Heian Nidan. Not a lot of talking. Not going through this by the numbers. You're going to go through this at your own speed and pace, just as I am. So I will let you know now. We're going to go through protocol together. We'll go through every kata at your own speed and pace. At the end of me performing the kata, I will wait a few seconds, give you time to complete the kata, and then do a lap, and then we'll get ready and set up for the next kata. All right, so that's how class will go today. So stick with me and watch, listen, okay? Not going to be a lot of talking or direction or instruction today because this is pretty much a good cardio workout that we're doing, a good kata workout as well, all right? Okay, let me get my timer going. All right, ready? All right, again, we're going through protocol together. So starting here, yoi, subirachi, right, yoi, in, short, your own speed and pace, hajime. And yame. All right, a key point that I'm going to point out here now, where you start and stop. Okay, I want you to take note of where you start your kata and where you end your kata today. Throughout this entire workout, wherever you start, you should be facing the same direction when you end. Okay, that's for every kata. Also, your starting point, take note, because your ending point should be 1, maybe 2 feet away from your starting point. Okay, so take note of that as we go through every kata today. If you end facing this direction when you started there, you've turned too much or not enough during the kata. Or if you started here and you're ending here, right? Maybe your steps are a little bit inconsistent with how long of a step you're taking. Maybe you're taking a long step and then a short step and then the rest are short, right? So again, just keep in mind that if you start here, you should be finishing right around this area. All right, so take note of your starting and stopping point at the end of every kata. Okay? All right, I'm not going to do a lap because I've talked. Okay? So let's get right into Heian Nidan. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Ready? Yoi. Heian Nidan. Your own speed and pace. Hajime. And yame. Good. Starting at any point, this is where I ended. Okay. This is where I started. That's just a few inches of difference. Facing the same direction. Okay. Keep that in mind as you go through your own kata. Again, like I said, you should be starting and ending in approximately the same positions, right? Shake it off a little bit. Get your mind prepared for your next kata, Heian Sandan, right? Ready? Starting point for me, typically the starting point is exactly the same. The only difference will be MP and Jion. And whenever I get to those kata, I will make my adjustment and you'll see why. Also, we'll check and see starting and ending point, right? Okay, ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Ready? Yoi. Heian Sandan. And hajime. And yame. Okay, this is my ending point. I'm I'm off maybe 2 inches from my starting point, and I did take a correction step there, so keep that in mind as well. If you're making a correction step, there may be a reason for your beginning and ending points to be off. I know that for me, I don't have enough room to get this last Oizuki punch in, so I do it in place. But even still, I take a shorter step at the end here, so I don't step off the mat. Again, this correction makes up for this correction, so again, your starting and ending point are approximately the same. All right? Okay, ready? Hand yandan. Yoi. Surachi. All right? Yo. Hand yandan. And ajime. And yame. Good. Okay. Starting and ending point for me, I'm about a foot away from my starting point. And that makes a big difference in this particular kata because you do an extra step here. Right? So it depends on how deep you go in this direction. We do 3 Maroto ukes, right? 1, 2, 3. Then your knee strike as you turn and execute these 2 Shotokan. A little bit of difference in play there, but again, if you have the room to move through your Hizageri fully, then you do your 2 Shotokan, you should still end up very close to your starting point. All right, and again, so far so good, we're facing the same direction. All right, keep that in mind. Okay, all right, let's do hand godan. Ready? Yoi, surachi, right, yo, hand godan, and ajime. Yame, good. Again, starting and ending point. For me, I'm almost exactly in the same spot. I don't even know how much of a difference. I may have started here, so I think I'm maybe off by 1 or 2 inches. Okay, facing same direction, yes? Good. All right, there's hand godan. Now we're into the teki kata, right? So we're gonna go through teki shodan. Obviously, you're going to end up facing the same direction here because we're just moving left and right. Okay? Your starting and ending point may be slightly off, but again, it should be pretty close to your beginning point. Okay? We'll mark it again. I'll start right here on this X on the floor here. This will be my starting point when I get to yoi. So when I get to teki shodan yoi, okay, that'll be my starting point, or that's what I'm aiming for as my starting point. Therefore, I probably want to start about right here and go through protocol, because then we bring our right foot to our left as we get into teki shodan yoi. So my left foot will start approximately at the right spot, okay? All right, let's go ahead and go through this protocol together and this kata. Ready? Yoi, Sugachi. Right? Yo. Teki Shodan yo. Your own speed and pace. Teki Shodan. And Yame, good. All right, so my starting point was here, and I ended here, okay? Not too bad. Looks like I may have drifted forward a little bit, which is not good with this kata, right? You should basically be towing a line, right? So if there's a line going directly across the floor, you shouldn't be moving in front of that line. Your toes should be right on it the entire time, okay? So again, just something to keep in mind for that particular kata. It's the reason we're going through this today, practicing these kata, okay? All right, it's Teki Shodan. Let's go into Basadai, okay? This is a big one, yeah? Lots of movement with this one, all right? Same thing applies. Where we start and end should be approximately the same, and we will be facing the same direction. So if you start here with this kata, do not end over here, all right? You're doing something incorrectly with your turns. Okay, so keep that in mind. Ready? Big kata here. We'll take a little bit more of a break between this kata and moving on to MP and Jion, our more advanced katas from here. Okay? Ready? Yoi. Sugachi. Right. Yoi. Basarai. And Ajime. And Yame, good. Again, facing same direction. Ending point, pretty close, yeah? I started here and ended here, okay? That's maybe 8 to 12 inches difference, okay? Again, just something to keep in mind, all right? So catch your breath here. Let me just count it up. All 5 hand kata. Teki Shodan, Basadai. We're going to do, I want to get 10 in, right? So let's do MP, Jion, we'll just do those two, all right? We'll just keep it at 9, all right? So total kata today we're doing 18, so we're going from the bottom to the top and from the top back down to the bottom. So let's do the kata MP, okay? Now, this is the kata that I told you I'd be starting in a different place, a different location, just slightly. So what I like to do for this one is I like to move forward just slightly and move over to the right just slightly. And again, the reason I do this is because there's a long section here. This long section, if I start here in the middle of my mat, I usually will run out of room during this long section in the back, okay? So I typically will just move forward a square and to the right a square, okay? Ending point. You should still be facing this direction at the end of this kata. You may be off. Let's see how far I'm off, okay, from your starting point. Because there's a jump, right? And again, I want to stress that the jump is optional. So because I'm saying that, the first time I do this kata, I will do the jump. The second time, I won't do the jump. Let's see if that makes a difference in how far off we are. Because your jump will make a difference in your ending point and how close it is to your starting point. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you go through this kata. Don't rush through this kata. Don't just say to yourself, I just have to get from the beginning to the end. You should have good kime, you should have good kihon technique, you should have good timing. Don't rush this kata. All right, let's start. Yoi, subarachi, all right, yoi. And now it's kata. MP. Your own speed and pace. Hajime. And yame. All right. Sorry, before I move. I did make a mistake in that kata. I took too many steps here in the middle. That's because I took a misstep at the beginning. All right. You may have caught it if you were watching. So I'll check that on the next time we do the kata. Starting and ending point though. Facing the same direction, almost exactly where I started. Ended here, started here. All right. One square up, one square over. So again, that was with the jump, and I don't think my jump was very good, right? I've gone over this in a previous video covering MP. You really need to pick your feet up when you make the jump, okay? I didn't do that just now. I was thinking about my mistake, and I shouldn't have done that. So these are things that you're going to come across whenever you start practicing kata. Okay, you're going to come across these things like, I messed up, and then you kind of dwell on that as you continue the rest of the kata. And that can make you mess up even more. So don't do that, okay? Learn from my mistake, learn from my example there, okay? So just because I messed up these steps moving, I was still focused on that when I did the next couple of techniques, and I knew after I landed my jump, I knew that I didn't do a good jump, okay? Again, learn from my mistakes, okay? Let's go ahead and go through Jion, okay? Jion is I do this kata from a different starting point, and the reason I do that is because there's three very long sections that move up and down the floor. I have a lot more room going this direction than I do this direction, and therefore I tend to start this kata on that side of the room. So we're going to do that today. I'll start over here. Again, I'm taking my starting and ending point because your starting point, you have to make sure you have room to step back, right? That's the first technique. Is you step back, right? So from this position, you drop back. So make sure you have room behind you before you get this one started. And again, I'm starting right here between 2 squares. So, but it's even, so I'm dead center of the mat here. We'll see where I end. I believe I'll end back a little bit. We'll see, right? We'll just check. Okay, ready? Yoi. Subrachi. Ready? Yoi. Now it's Kata. Jion. Jion MP, or sorry, Jion Yoi. And your own speed and pace. Aji. Alright, I don't know if I'm off camera or not. I'm pretty far back. So I'm going to take a step forward. So I'm still in the frame now. Continue your kata until you're done. And yame. Alright, so I ended up facing same direction. Perfect. But I did end up back, just like I said. I ended up about a step back from my beginning position. Okay. Again, still within the 1 to 2 feet that is acceptable, or that I'm looking for as an acceptable amount of distance to be off. Okay, so still good there. All right, how far off are you? Okay, and again, look for ways to kind of pull that in a little bit. Okay, I know that again, typically when I do this kata, I didn't do any correction steps that time. Right, typically when I do that kata, I'll do a correction step. So after we turn to here, and you do these 3 large moves, typically I will step back to allow myself more room. Had I done that, that 1 step back would have put me exactly on my starting position. Okay. Again, this is something that in a larger room, I'd be able to gauge a little bit more accurately. But I didn't do any correction steps there, and like I said, I was off by maybe a foot from my beginning point. So something to keep in mind as you go through the amount of space that you have, making correction steps and things like that. It may be difficult for you to properly gauge your starting and ending point because you're doing correction steps maybe throughout the kata. So don't judge yourself too harshly based on that if you're doing correction steps, okay? All right, we made it to the top of the ladder. Let's go back down the ladder. Starting with Jion. Okay, so we're just going to repeat the kata and go back through the rest until we get back down to hand Shotokan. All right, ready? Yoi, Sudachi, Rei, Yoi, Jion. And yame. Good. All right. Not keeping track, not noticing now the beginning and ending point. That was on the way up the ladder. On the way down, we're going to go a little faster. All right. So there's not a lot of time and space between each kata. All right. Moving right along. MP. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Right. Yo. MP. And yame. All right. Right on back down the ladder. Basadai. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Right. Yoi. Basadai. And yame. All right. Continuing down the ladder. Teki Shodan. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Right. Yoi. Teki Shodan. Teki Shodan. Yoi. Hajime. And yame. Good. All right. Next up, hand Godan. All right. Now we're back into the hand katas. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand Godan. Ready? Yoi. Sudachi. Right. 用意変乱始めAlright. And yame. Hen yondon. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Ring. Yoi. Hen yon. Hajime. And yame. Alright. 3 more to go. Alright. Hand sana. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Ring. Yoi. Hand sana. Yame. Getting closer to the end. Alright. And knee down. Alright. Keep things together. Don't let things fall apart because you're getting back to these kata that you know. Do them as you would in competition. Do them as you would for an exam. Alright. Hand, knee down. Ready? Yoi. Subirachi. Ring. Yoi. Hand down. Hajime. Kill! And yame. All right. Last kata. All right. Hand Shotokan. Take it slow. Don't rush through this kata. Take it slow. All right. Think about each technique. We've gone up the ladder. We've come back down the ladder. I don't want you to be exhausted here. Okay. You should be able to go through this at a good, regular pace. Not rushing because you're out of breath. Not rushing because you're exhausted. Not hurrying because you're exhausted or tired or out of breath. Control your breath. Control your body. Right? Let's go for Heian Shodan. Ready? Yo. Sudachi. Ring. Yo. Heian Shodan. Hajime. And yame. All right, students, great class. Go up and down the ladder. Lots of kata today, 18 kata, regardless of whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced student. Advanced, you hung with me the whole time, right? Intermediate, you probably hung with me for most of the time. And then you stuck to a kata that you just learned in order to get a lot more reps in, yeah? And then you came back down the ladder. Beginners, not sure if you participated in this class or not. At least you got some reps, or you watched the class. It's always good to watch. This is a good reference class for you to come back to when you're ready to learn another kata. You get to at least see many of the kata that we do twice. Okay? So a good class for everyone all around. But I would definitely say if you're participating, good for advanced, maybe good for intermediate. All right? Let's come back to center of the class. Yoi. Sudachi. Ring. Yo. Seiza. All right. At this point, I'm just looking for you to slow your heart rate, calm your body, calm your breathing. Action. Mokuso yame, sensen yurei. Tate. Yoi. Sudachi. Ring. Yoi. Os. Thank you, students, for joining me for this class. Great kata ladder today, kata pyramid, whatever you prefer to call it. But again, thank you for joining me, and we will see you in the next class. Os.